What's going on, Washington Commander family? It's your boy Rio Robinson back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about the Washington Commanders. The offensive coordinator has been fired. Pop your champagne in your bottles. Let's talk about it. I got the guys coming on so we can talk about it today. First up, I got my boy Street Scores coming in the building. What's good with you, Rico?
What's happening with you, man? What's good?
Hey, it's a good day in Commander land.
Oh, it's a good day in Commanders and Georgia land, so I'm really happy.
I'm
having a good old week.
Hey, y'all stomped them boys soul out last night. After I heard someone leak Kirby Smart's pregame presser, I was like, I see why they put 60 on them boys last night. I was ready to run through a wall for Kirby myself.
Same here.
Hell yeah. Welcoming in our guy, the real Ed Oliver, not the one from Buffalo. Welcome to the stream, Playboy.
What's up, fellas? It's a holiday, man. It's a holiday, man. I'm happy to see Scott get fired.
Oh, yeah. Those fans that put your Commander flags, they took them off your car and they took your gear out, put it back on tomorrow, smile. And if you see a Dallas fan, make sure you laugh at them in the process, because we're going to troll that ass all the way into oblivion after what took place on Sunday. We're about to get straight into the Scott Turner topic in just a second. Then who else could it be except our guy Louis T? How we doing tonight, big dog?
What's good, man? How y'all feeling?
I'm
good, man.
Hey, Ron's making moves. You wouldn't have thought they were coming this quick after that nothing ass presser that him and Mayhew had today.
See,
but
I didn't see it that way. I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I didn't get that sense. Like, my percentage of Scott getting fired went up by like 15% after listening. Like, Ron literally said. The man said
he did his job, but he
did the things he wanted. He did the things he wanted to do. What does that even mean? Like,
does not mean a damn thing.
The analogy I gave was like, my kid colors a picture. You know, he's 4, and he's like, "Daddy, look at the picture I colored. It's a picture of an orange." And I look at the picture, I'm like,
"Oh, it's a picture.
It's orange." You know,
it's orange.
You got the right color. Right, but he didn't give, that wasn't a ringing endorsement at all. It was like, I mean, he did a job. I don't really know if he did a good job, but he did a job. So, oh shit, maybe he might be getting fired. I don't know.
Hell yes.
So, I mean, I thought this is what I took from the presser. They're not going to give you any information, which they shouldn't. They're not going to tell you what their plans are. They're going to attack the quarterback position aggressively, but here's the difference from last year. Last year, Ron went on a world tour. The man was campaigning. The man did the ESPN circuit not once, twice.
He was shaking babies, kissing children.
I mean, he was doing everything. Man was at the combine, knocking on doors. Hey, man, I heard Russell Wilson was available. What's good? Like, it's crazy. This year, they're not that desperate because of Sam Howell. It allows them to be a little bit more choosy as to whether they want to pursue someone. Like, they had Heineke was the only quarterback on the roster after last year. Like, they had to do something, right? Yep. They traded for Wentz, and then they drafted Howell. So this year, Sam Howell's on the roster, and if they don't do anything else other than, say, bring back Heineke, or let's say go out and get Jacoby Brissett, like, if they don't do anything else other than that, we'll be fine. Like, in their minds, they're like, yeah, we'll survive. You know, I think last year was more about like, look, Heineke, love him to death, but he ain't it. You know what I'm saying? We got to do something. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I took from it is they're going to be aggressive, but they're not going to be as desperate as they were last year.
I feel like there was also a sense of unease and a sense of, we need to figure out how this works, because I was listening to Bram and John Kahn talk not too long ago, and they were like, how does this work when it goes to issuing extensions, trading for players, and offering money when the guy that's currently cutting the checks, that name on that check is going to change in 3 to 6 months at the soonest. Like, how does it work when you say I'm going to go give this guy $100 million when it's about to be a change of hand? So there was a sense to me of like unease of like, we're going to figure this out when we talk to Dan next week because we don't know yet. And it felt very obvious and written on both of their faces. But Rico, going to you. Scott Turner has been fired. It was the correct move. Do you feel like what were your immediate thoughts on it?
Well, for me, I am happy that we moved on from him because I feel like you can upgrade from Scott Turner, but I also don't necessarily agree with the fact that he was like the main number one problem
scapegoat
while offense wasn't working. Definitely a scapegoat. Like I've been saying, I would prefer Pat Mahomes with Scott Turner than Taylor Heineke with Eric Bieniemy. That's been my stance on it. But Scott Turner, we can definitely upgrade over Scott Turner. My worry is with the way that Ron Rivera and Martin Mayhew want to run the ball so much, who's even going to want to take this job? All of the guys we want to pass it. So who even wants to, and then like you just spoke on with Dan Snyder, say you come here for 1 year, new owner comes in, maybe he gets rid of you after that year. Like, so it's just so much chaos around that situation that I'm not exactly sure if what offensive coordinator even wants to step into this potentially only 1 year. You got to uproot your family and move somewhere potentially only for 1 year. Even if you do a great job, if the new owner just doesn't like you or the new head coach doesn't like you after they move on from Ron Rivera with the new owner, you may end up getting fired no matter how well you do.
This is facts. And the point you brought up about the running game before I go to Ed, when Ron and Martin started acting like the run game was why Wentz had a bad year and that we want to run twice as many times as we pass the ball, I felt like I was watching a black and white interview from Football Talk in the 80s. I was like, what, Ron and Martin, cut that shit out. Ed, the Scott Turner firing, the press conferences, all of it. What are your thoughts today, brother?
Well, Ron said the 2-to-1 run the pass thing because it worked with Cam Newton. Anything Ron says, he's talking about what worked in Carolina. So that's what he's talking about. But the firing is a long time coming, man. Thank you for Sam Fortier for coming out with the article.
Yes, that was the icing on the cake.
Yeah, because one thing, Ron, like you said, Rio, that everybody cyber bullied Ron into starting Sam Howell. Ron, he listens to social media. He really does. Like, he listens to people. He listens to the radio. He listens to everything. He's a sensitive guy. And if he hears stuff and he doesn't like it, he will listen to people. He will. And I think that was a part of it. Logan Thomas, they said 9 anonymous players. I think Logan Thomas is one of the guys.
Oh,
his
facts.
Wife was out here.
His wife.
Brian Robinson Jr. is one of those. I think I can name like 6 or 7 of those dudes.
Terry liked the tweet. He won.
Yeah, Terry liked the tweet. So, I mean, when you have leaders like that speaking out, then you got to do something. Because Ron said that in the article, the little presser or whatever you call it, that the PR thing that came out from the team is that he talked to players and coaches about it too. So when you have your leaders, Terry speaks out, Logan speaks out, Brian Robinson speaks out, you got to do something. And you know, people are saying he's a scapegoat. I think it's well deserved. I really do. Now, is it his fault that, you know, he had 8 different quarterbacks in a span of 3 years? That's not his fault. The offensive line was bad. That's Ron's fault, in my opinion. Andrew Norwell and Trey Turner, those were bad pickups. But yeah, you can point to a couple plays. The 4th and 1 against the Browns, the toss to John Williams, that was one of the worst play calls I've ever seen in my life. The 3rd and 3, we were in the red zone against the Giants on Sunday Night Football. We were at home. He ran a reverse with Curtis Samuel when Brian Robinson was hot. Then there was actually a penalty where they stopped the play, and he was going to run another reverse with Curtis Samuel, but the ref stopped the play. That was going to be a terrible play call in the red zone. Too many 3rd and 3s, run up the gut with Curtis. I hated his 4th and 1 and 3rd down play calling. I hated it with a passion, and I'm happy Scott Turner's gone. It was a long time coming. The extension before the season was, I was surprised that happened, but not surprised. And I know it hurt him. I heard his heart. I know it hurt his heart because, you know, he's Norv's son, former Panther commander. I know the Sam Mills firing hurt his heart too, but both of them had to happen. It's just like the Sam Mills firing. Both had to happen. For this team to get better, they have to happen.
It may hurt Ron's heart, but it don't hurt Scott's pockets because my man just finessed getting an extended paycheck for the next 2 years that he don't even have to work to get. But he's also the son of Norv, and he has even the smallest ability to call an offense. So we know that boy gonna get another job in this league. Lou, the firing of Scott Turner. Hold on, and just before I get to you real quick, appreciate you, Tizzy, Duncan, Faye. DeAndre and Charles for the donations. I'm gonna get to your super chats in just a second. Look, Scott Turner's firing. It was inevitable, and like you could call it a scapegoat because in a way, the way that it ended and how the leaks of Ashburn returned all of a sudden, and we got players' wives. It felt like there was a need to air his ass out, and Ron usually jumps on top of articles and attacks of his staff and players. Ron said, "Y'all got it on this one."
Yeah.
Look,
hell yes. Hey man, when I saw that, I was literally doing the video, and I was the nightly news video today was pretty much breaking down the exit interview of Martin and Ron. So I'm talking about how that he did not give a ringing endorsement to Scott Turner, how I just upped my percentage. I still didn't think he was getting fired. Let me just say that. I still didn't think he was good. But it went from like 80-20. I had it 80% he would be back, 20% he'd be fired, to like 65-35. Like I was like, man, it's getting closer to 50-50. Like that didn't sound good at all. But I didn't think it would. So I get to my phone and it says Commanders fire offensive coordinator Scott Turner. I'm like, oh my God, he did it. So in my mind, it was like this. I think they looked at a number of different factors because Ron made it abundantly clear at the bye week when they did their self-evaluation, their self-scouting, that they had to be better in the red zone, right? Like that was one of his big talking points. Like we got to be better in the red zone. And they weren't. They were worse in the red zone after the bye week. Like how many 20-something yard field goals did Joey Sly kick this year, man? It's got to be close. If the Denver Broncos probably got that on lock, but we got to be second in the league in 20-something yard field goals kick. Like that's the worst field goal you can kick. And we kicked like 2 of them against Dallas this past week. Like he has an issue, and I think Rico said it best. You had all these guys speaking up, right? And these leaders that Ron said he talked to every player on the team except 3. And you're not telling me that these guys haven't voiced their displeasure with Brian Robinson literally had a locker room scrum where he spent 2.5 minutes talking about play calling. Like, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I mean, it is what it is.
It's like, with all due respect.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. I mean, Logan Thomas is like, yo, look, his wife ain't pulled that out of thin air. Nope. He been at home bitching about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she said that because her husband has been frustrated with his lack of attempts in the red zone. Like, the dude is 6'6". And that's what did it for me, was his inability. Yeah, look, I've always complained about his situational awareness. It's been terrible since 2020. And what I always told people was, Scott Turner, he knows football. He's not a dummy in terms of being able to scheme up plays, get guys open. That's not his problem, because there were times I've watched the film. I've broken down the film and I've showed people, look, guys are open. These quarterbacks are missing open receivers. Like,
he can scheme a little bit.
He can scheme some stuff up. Like, he's no dummy. Here's the problem. Situationally, he's been bad since he set foot in Washington. I go back to 2020 against the Steelers. Peyton Barber was like 18 for 18 in short yardage situation. Like, dude was undefeated. And it's first down, we don't run it, we try to throw it. Second down, we try a little bootleg, it don't work. Third down, we throw it again. I'm like, you do know Peyton Barber is undefeated and on fourth down. He tried to play action fake, and luckily enough for him, TJ Watt grabs the running back, JD McKissick, out of the backfield. They called him for holding on fourth down. He gets a fresh set of downs. First play, he gives it to Peyton Barber, we score. I'm like, dude, you could have did that 3 plays ago and saved yourself the anguish.
Facts.
It's been a problem for him all the way through. And as he's gotten more weapons, he's gotten worse as a play caller. Like, in 2020, I actually thought he did a hell of a job. You know, we've done this before. We've gone down this road with what we had. I thought he did a hell of a job. And he's gotten progressively worse as a play caller with the more talent that he's been given. It's just insane. And what did it for me, the icing on the cake, was red zone, lack of red zone efficiency. And when it's just certain things where I'm just like, we at home, I'm on my couch. I don't get paid to do this every day. And I know I can call some better red zone plays.
Hell yeah.
Than what you putting out there. Because it's people make football harder than it has to be at times. You get in the red zone, you get to the 5-yard line. I got a 6'6" tight end in Logan Thomas. I got a 6'5" tight end in Cole Turner. All offseason, you told me this dude is a red zone threat. He had 10 touchdowns receiving for Nevada last year. And then you got Cam Sims, who we know can go up and get the football. He's 6'5". You got all these weapons, and we're not utilizing them at all.
Cam Sims don't even touch the field. That shit's crazy.
In the red zone at all, right? It's mind-boggling. And then you got Jahan, who's breaking dudes off at the line of scrimmage. I mean, he's in the category right now with Devontae Adams and with Keenan Allen. You know what I'm saying? Like already in terms of just getting off the ball in the release. And you telling me you can't split him out, put a bunch to the top of the formation, him at the bottom by himself, isolate him one-on-one with the dude, and just let him break somebody off and throw a slant? That's not in the playbook.
Man. It's crazy. It's crazy. And those are the exact reasons why you can definitely divide the pie up between people. And Ronald, of course, gets a big piece of that pie. But Scott's piece of the pie is big as hell, too. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He should have lost his job. Mm-hmm. You can point to the amount of quarterbacks. You can point to all the other contexts. But Scott was not getting it done. Mm-hmm. I went to 7 of 9 home games this year. We was in the stands predicting the calls every damn play. Every second and long of the season was a shotgun zone run play up the A gap or the B gap, and it rarely got more than 2 yards.
I'm about to say, you're still in a long situation after that.
Well, 3rd and long was like, it was death taxes and 3rd and 7+ here because we run. It was like run, and then when they put the rookie on the field Sunday, they didn't put any confidence that we could throw on 1st and 2nd down. Right. It was run, pass the whole game. Yeah. It was like Scott was like, look, I can't show you too much of this rookie or y'all going to say we should have been played him. So I'm only going to let him throw it 19 times because Sam easily goes for 250 plus. If Jahan doesn't drop the deep ball, Terry doesn't drop the 3rd down play, and Scott lets him throw the ball 10 more times. Like he's easily over 250. And with the rushing yards, he's probably over 300 total yards for the day. Let me get to these supers real quick before I move it on to offensive coordinator candidates, man. My guy Greatness said Ron had to put a 2-to-1 pass ratio, and Scott took it literally, run, pass. He gone. Salute to all of you. Salute to you. Salute to my guy Charles. He just got back to Orlando. Me and him rode up to the game on Sunday together, the Cowboys game. It was hilarious because we were sitting there like this game means nothing to us. Cowboy fans was clowning us when we walked in the stadium, and they was all leaving by the end of the 3rd quarter talking about, well, y'all don't even got a game next week, so talk to us nice. Like, nah, that's not how y'all was talking a couple minutes ago, man. Right. Now all of a sudden it's, but y'all ain't even in the playoffs. Like, nah, y'all got spanked with your starters in, and I don't know what the hell is wrong with your quarterback right now. Dak is having issue. DeAndre, salute to you, my guy. He said All-Pro Commanders YouTube squad. My guy F.A. Trust hit him with the 0 potential around Randy Jordan. He here since 14. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Duncan, our Eagles fan, our resident Eagles fan in the chat, channel member, always coming in with the jokes. Duncan said, Rio and T, hope your couch is comfy. Your couch is gonna be your couch will be right next to ours in a couple weeks. My friend.
Bro, I already told you I got your seat nice and ready. I got the 2 butter shots that you asked for and your popcorn is right here waiting on you, bro.
Hell yeah. And just a week before you, like, you know, on Monday night, the Cowboys, right, they're going to come sit with us. The Giants possibly are going to be sitting with us on Saturday. It's going to be an NFC East family reunion on the couch very soon. And I got my guy Rocky D. with the $10 donation. He said, what's up, guys? Great day. Now I'm looking at potential OCs, and I'm really liking Bobby Slowick, 49 coordinator. I like what I see for the Niners pass game. What do you think? Let's get to the topic. Perfect segue. You say who?
That's Rich NGL. That's his boy. He's been screaming about him for a minute. Okay. Bobby Slowick, he hasn't been playing about him.
Well, that's where we're going next. Offensive coordinator candidates for this team. We are in a possible and most likely lame duck situation with Ron, with new ownership coming in. He's probably going to get an evaluation season and shown the door at the end or at some point in 2023. Or we could be in a reality where Dan says, fuck y'all, I'm going to keep owning this team. That is still a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's a low possibility, but in a lame duck year, I think the best we're gonna probably get is one of Ron's old friends or coworkers. And if I had to put money on it, I would say Mike Shula or somebody's gonna be the offensive coordinator. He spent 4 years with Ron. 51, 28-1 while he was there with Cam. We know most of that was because of Cam and it wasn't because of the scheme. And Panther fans have already told me you want no parts of it. Right. But Ron can sell that he's learned and changed his ways because he's been working with the Buffalo Bills, and they are one of the class organizations in the league right now. Starting with Ed, offensive coordinator candidates. Who is your favorite? Who do you think gets the job?
Yeah, a lot of people brought up Frank Reich. I wouldn't mind him. I mean, he's been successful in the league before.
He get head coaching interviews too.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind him, but I don't think he's going to come here. I don't think it's going to be a big name guy, to be honest with you. I think it probably would be somebody like Mike Shula, like you said, somebody that's had some ties to Ron. But they did say that it's going to be somebody who's not within the organization. It's not going to be Ken Zampese. It's not going to be Randy Jordan.
Darren Haynes reported.
Yeah, Darren Haynes said that. So it's going to be somebody from the outside. I don't know, but I really think it's going to be. It's not going to be anybody brought up. That's probably my best guess.
It would be nice if it's some up and comer whose age starts with a 3 or 4, and he's like some game offensive coordinator, some assistant to the QB coach. It would be nice if it was something like that. Like, honestly, I don't even want the offensive coordinator's age to start with a 5, bro. I feel like we got enough boomer mentality in the building. I want some fresh blood in that jump. Lou, who is your favorite? Who do you think gets the offensive coordinator position here?
So I already said I got to do my homework and see what's out there, what's available. I'm gonna compile a list of 7 guys for Thursday's show. But to a lot of y'all point, specifically the point about this is a lame duck year. Essentially, it's a prove it type year for Ron. And he's been in this situation before. It's going to be hard to convince anybody with any kind of chops, because the name that most Washington fans have been throwing out there is Cliff Kingsbury. But I'm like, all of these names y'all throwing out are guys that have been head coaches. So what's stopping Cliff Kingsbury from saying, I'm going back to college and I'm going to try to get a college job? You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't even touch another pro job if I was Kingsbury.
I don't even know if that's what he's looking for. You know what I'm saying? He could be ready to go back to college. So Frank Wright, he's probably thinking he's a head coach again. Like, I don't think these are guys that are looking to be OCs and then they're bringing up other OCs. They're not taking lateral moves. Like, it's going to have to be a guy that's a QB coach or an offensive quality, control or something like that. It's going to have to be somebody down the road. I was thinking about a guy like Todd Haley, Matt Nagy, who former Bears head coach. He's now the quarterback's coach in Kansas City. Super innovative when he was there. Remember the first year they won the division in Chicago. And they did some really, and anybody that's with Andy, they off the wall like Mike Jack. They doing some crazy shit, right? I mean, I watched Kansas City spinning a damn circle like a carousel and then sprint to the line of scrimmage.
That shit made me happy. I was like, man, can you imagine?
I mean, like, this is crazy, right? Like the creativity, having fun. That's why, that's part of the reason they're so dangerous in the red zone. But like I see those kinds of things and I'm thinking like a guy like that, man, I'm not saying that's who they're, looking at or even entertaining that, but somebody like that who's dying for he's a quarterback's coach right now. He's dying for an opportunity to get back to being an OC so that he can prove that he should be a head coach again and maybe get another opportunity. So that's the kind of guy you're going after in my estimation.
And I saw a report that I talked about earlier not a report. Well, Benjamin Albright was just kind of throwing out smoke because he's an NFL insider, but he kind of be plugged into these things. He be throwing out some what seem to be wild rumors and they be coming to fruition at times. Someone asked them Washington OC candidates, and he said he's heard rumors about Eric Bieniemy, and he said he may be looking to take an offensive coordinator job elsewhere to prove himself outside of the umbrella of Andy Reid, so then he could get the head coaching job. Because we're talking about a guy who is now interviewed for 16 different positions and has not seen the second interview, the follow-up interview that precedes the first interview. He hasn't proceeded to get one, not a single one out of 16 coaching interviews. So there's something there. There's some type of distrust or disconnect.
Exactly. So my thing is, did he just not interview well? Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm
He's done
saying.
it a ton of times.
Because at first I wanted to say, like, all right, this is the black coaching thing. Then I was like, brothers getting jobs, bro. The Caldwells and the Lovie Smiths, they getting jobs, bro. Why can't Bieniemy on this juggernaut ass team get a job?
And also I don't think that, and that's why that could be partially true, is he's not really calling the plays. Like I don't think most people think he's actually like, he might be calling them into the headset.
Yeah.
But I don't think they feel like he's totally in control of that offense.
Yeah.
And
So he may
I don't know,
running.
that could be him, you know, but would you really leave the comfort of being under Andy Reid for a 1 year hiatus in Washington potentially?
You would have to be starving for a head coaching position, which, like, he may be starving, bro. He may be ready to go out and take the training wheels off. I can ride the bike now. I'm the captain now. He may be ready to pull the Captain Phillips on Andy Reid, but bro, the grass ain't always greener, Eric. It is not always greener, especially signing going to a situation where there is a question mark, and roster spots when it comes to the quarterback position here. Rico, who are your candidates and favorites to get the offensive coordinator job here, man?
Now, Lou put it perfectly. Like, nobody's really going to take a lateral movement unless it's something like y'all said with the Eric Bieniemy situation where he may be starving for a head coaching job, especially with the situation that we have right now, where you could probably have the best offensive coordinating coaching job of all time and still end up getting fired after this season with new ownership and potentially a new head coach, new GM and all of that. But if there were one guy to make a lateral move, I would love the Eagles offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen, that helped develop Justin Herbert his rookie season. And then
he gonna get a head.
He about to get a head gig. He about to get a job.
I'll take their quarterbacks coach, Brian Johnson. If he don't get a head coaching job, they developed the shit out of Hurts, bro. I went from saying that man couldn't throw a pass to that boy good in like 10 weeks.
That boy good.
That boy
good. Hey, I've been eating crow all year. Like, that's what development look like. We don't do that over here. We don't do that. Too tough over here. Shout out to my guy Major Tutty. I actually ran into the mascot and talked to him for a second the other day. I think it's a brother too. I think it's a black dude under that joint.
You know they're about diversity out there, boy.
They're
all about diversity. So
he like 6'4".
He might be his brother up under there, man.
The bio said he's from Upper Marlboro. He likes mumbo sauce and listens to Go-Go.
Oh, he's a nigga for sure.
It's a wrap. It ain't nothing else to talk about.
I walked past him. This dude's like 6'4". He probably hooped against him before.
It's a wrap. You already know what it is.
Appreciate you, King of the North. He said, don't see Ron pulling an OC from the NCAA. It's not his style, given the emphasis on the run game. I think we got to listen. Ron can keep saying that emphasis on the run game shit. It is not the 1980s. As much as we like to run the ball a lot with Brian Robinson, you did not pay Terry top 5 money, draft the receiver in the first round, pay Curtis Samuel 33 over 3, and give an extension to your tight end just to run the ball. There's going to have to be some balance there. And whoever the offensive coordinator that's brought in here, they should have full autonomy of the offense. And Ron should just kick rocks and go stand with Jack during the games. And I think if they bring in an OC from the outside, they would want to bring their own assistants in, like position coaches and shit, right? Like, or they're not going to just keep Randy Jordan and everybody in place if they outsource an OC, or do they?
I would think they would. I mean, when I say they, I mean Ron and company is like, look, you just coming in to call the plays.
Yeah, that is some Ron shit.
Yeah, like lead the staff. The staff is fine the way it is. We really believe in these guys because Ron's big on teaching. So we got teachers here. You just come in and coach up what we got.
I would be very curious. I hope someone in the know that leak shit is there when Ron and Martin and them have this budget meeting with Dan Snyder next week, because Dan kind of has to lay out what this offseason looks like for them. This is the budget. This is what exists. This is what you can spend. I'm moving to the UK. I'm about to go buy a soccer team. Y'all are getting new bosses in a few months. Like, I want to know how that conversation goes. Dan ain't even show up to see Sonny's jersey go in the rafters, bro. Dan wasn't there Sunday. Tanya was there.
That man declared England as his place of residence, man. He's gone already. That dude is done, right? Hey, he's already that ship is sailed. Literally, that ship is sailed.
That guy, that's a
He's
crazy
done.
dude, man. Like, so I would really want to know how that interview is gonna go. Swaggy P, appreciate you for the donation. He said it's great to see the squad get together. Being a Commanders fan is hard, but y'all hold it down. Turner fired. Now we wait for Dan to sell the team and let the party begin. Hell yeah, that's gonna be parade worthy. Maybe this hockey team right here, maybe they bring a parade home, but the real parade this year is going to be when Daniel Snyder, we get the notification from Adam Schefter, the Washington Commanders are being sold to blah, blah, blah for $8 billion, the largest sale in North American sport. We can absolutely go batshit crazy. And we can say a real future is coming, a real stadium is coming, and real change is actually coming. So before we get to reviewing the season in totality, we did play a game on Sunday, and we got to see the rookie quarterback. I'll go last on this one. I'm going to start with Ed. What did Sunday's Dallas game say to you about the team, its season, and what did you see from the rookie quarterback?
It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating that they came out and played with more energy on Sunday than what they did against the Browns, because I know Scott Abraham asked Ron the same question. He was like, looked like they had more urgency, and Ron got mad.
He got
but it was true though. It looked like they played with more energy. They played with more hair, with their hair on fire. Sam looked good. The interception was bad. The pass to Terry was beautiful though. The 50-yard pass, the pass to Jahan was a beautiful pass. I love the mobility. I love the read option for a touchdown. I love that. I wanted to see Scott call some more design runs for Sam Howell too. I'm intrigued, man. He looked good. He looked confident. He had moxie.
In control.
In control of the game. He leads guys. He leads receivers. You know, there's more yak opportunities with him. There's more yards after the catch opportunities that I didn't see with other guys. Like Jahan got some yards after the catch. Terry got some yards after the catch. And they had 2 big drops too, man. So he definitely could have had 200 yards passing, like you said. He was cool, calm, and collected. So I'm intrigued to see more from Sam. I really am. The defense looked good. Danny Johnson was balling. Kendall Fuller was balling. He had a pick 6. Khalid Hudson was balling. He was running out there.
Khalid was hooping.
Yeah, Percy Butler. Everybody on defense. Even Mayo would look playable out there. Like guys were balling out there. Deron Payne, the D line. F.A. Abada was getting back there too, getting pressure on Dak. Dak looked like trash. He looked awful. I don't want to hear excuses from Cowboys fans too, because they did play their starters into the third quarter.
And they was talking so reckless at our stadium on Sunday too. Talking crazy before the game.
Yeah, Dak was so bad. He threw the ball to Kendall Fuller. Kendall Fuller dropped it. That could have been a pick 6. Then he threw the same pass to Kendall Fuller again. He finally got the pick 6. I was like, Dak really just threw the ball twice to Kendall Fuller again. So it was good. It's just frustrating because they really could have did that to the Browns last week. So it really made me more mad than happy. And I mean, I'm still happy they beat the Cowboys, of course, obviously, but it was frustrating seeing that. And you know, we dropped in draft position too, so that kind of hurt too. But I'm happy we beat the Cowboys. I'm happy we beat them, so they can't say Dak is 9-1. Now he's 9-2, and Sam Howell's undefeated against the Cowboys.
Hell yeah. And I like what Sam had to say after the game. He was like, man, we left points on the board, man.
I wanted a 30 piece on the board.
Hell yeah. He said next year we're gonna roll them boys though. I said, this man Sam.
Hey, Terry was loving it. Terry was loving it, bro.
Hey, they was looking at him with stars in their eyes, like we ain't had none of this year. Mike, what I liked most about Sam's performance, the deep ball was beautiful. It was like something we haven't seen all year. My favorite throw he threw the whole entire game was the curl route to Jahan on the right sideline. He threw the jump before he came out of his break. He threw it over his outside breaking shoulder. So it was like one motion. He turned, hands, ball up the field. And we hadn't seen that all year because Taylor doesn't have the velocity and Carson ain't have the accuracy. And my whole argument to why we should have seen him earlier is because he combines the best element of both of them bums. I mean, well, I ain't gonna call them both. No, we'll call them bums. I'm sorry. Taylor's a fun bum and Carson's a very unlikable bum. But he combines the best element of both of those guys in one package. A real team would have had him prepared to take the baton after the bye week, and we could have actually got something going. You want a spark? You don't put the same motherfucker that had us at 2-6 at the beginning of the season back in the game. Like that's not a spark. You know what I'm saying? Rico, what did the Dallas game make you feel about the season? How did it make you feel in the moment? And like, what were your thoughts after Sunday?
Just to piggyback with you and things that Ed already said as well. One of my things with the whole don't start Sam Howell over Taylor Heineke because Taylor Heineke makes the team want to run through a wall for him. I feel like if anything, Sam Howell does that even better. Which is the way that he runs and can run defenders over, the way he had people hype on the sidelines, the Ravens preseason game, when that game literally didn't matter at all. And then he's more relatable as well. Love Taylor Heineke. But
See, that's white chocolate. He got that white chocolate.
Yeah, he's one of them ones.
He talks like he's from around the way.
I'm telling you, I have an exact point. Like, I think he's even a little bit more relatable and he could galvanize the troops even better than Taylor Heineke, which is a lot of people's arguments for Taylor Heineke probably being his best trait. I feel like Sam Howell's even better at that. One of my complaints from the game is that I don't know if it's Ron Rivera with this 2-1 thing or Scott Turner. I agree. We should have just let Sam Howell throw it 30 plus times. If he makes mistakes, that's more film to look at in the offseason and be like, do this, don't do that, fix this footwork, all of that type of stuff. So even if you open it up and maybe he calls you the game, at least that's more tape to, instead of him. I mean, now we have 19 throws of tape to look at the entire offseason for Sam Howell as far as his progression till we get to like offseason practices and things like that. But yeah, I love the way that the game went. I felt like if we would have won like 7-3, that would have been a pointless win. But the fact that Sam Howell gets to take a lot of confidence into the offseason, I'm happy about that. And then the defense, Jack Del Rio, if anything, out of all three coaches, including Scott Turner, I feel like will outlast all of them because of the job that he's done with the team. I mean, Cameron Curl wasn't out there, arguably our most important player. Jonathan Allen, arguably our best player. No Cole Holcomb, no Jamin Davis, no Benjamin St-Juste. And they went out there against the Cowboy starters and only allowed 6 points. Granted, some special teams plays helped a lot as well in that game. But the defense played very well for those guys, played inspired. I don't know where half of that energy was against the Browns, but I'm still glad to see them go out. And now we can talk trash to Dallas for a whole offseason, especially after they lose this first game.
Hell yeah, they should definitely talk to us nice, and they should definitely be worried that they're going into Tom Brady's house on Monday night in the Monday night spot of Wild Card Weekend. And before I get to Lou, I just wanted to touch on one other thing real quick because you said the name Del Rio. Dark horse offensive coordinator candidate that no one in the world is going to mention. The NFL is the nepotism Olympics. Jack Del Rio's son is the main offensive quality control assistant coach on the roster.
Y'all said that they weren't going in the building, right? So I already moved that out. I thought about that already.
Could you imagine that shit? They named Luke Del Rio offensive coordinator. How could they explain how, like, other than he's been in the building with Sam and then he's Jack's son, how could they try to sell that to fans if they did, bro?
Bright young mind. You know how that's how they're going to try to title it. That's what they're going to say.
Right, young mind. You know, he saw the vision with Sam. Like, I can already see all the bullshit Ron's going to conjure up if they come to any point this offseason saying that Sam's our guy. He's going to get all the first team work going into this offseason. But Lou, the game versus Dallas, the finale on Sunday. What were your immediate thoughts following the game and while watching it?
First off, shout out, and I meant to say this at the top. Shout out to Rico. Your boys took care of business in a big way.
God.
I mean, that was over in the second quarter, but
I turned that shit off in half.
I'm surprised people are surprised.
I don't know why. I was like, once Michigan got beat, I was like, it's a wrap. But and you would have beat them too, but it wouldn't have been 65-7, or 66 or whatever it was. My initial thoughts going into the game were I thought we were going to get killed, and I was fully prepared for us to go into this game, get hanging, the shit we do, hang in. It's 20-10 at halftime. We score a field goal. It's 20-13 halfway through the third quarter, and then I expected them to explode on us late third into the fourth. And when the punter dropped the ball, I was like, oh shit. And then he goes his first pass as a touchdown. I'm like, man, if we don't beat these bums, man, switch quick as hell. Like, I went into the game wanting draft position, right? Yeah. So in my mind, I'm already thinking we're gonna lose anyway. So I'm like, man, I don't even care for it. Like, then when he dropped the punt, the snap, and then he gets hit, and I'm like, shit, we got a great field position. I'm like, we probably gonna kick a field goal anyway. Mm-hmm. And then he hit Terry. I'm like, man, if we don't beat these bums, man. And from that point on, I wanted the game. Right, but we was doing dumb shit, missing field goals, missing out. He threw the pick in the end zone, but all in all, I was in the MOBB. We watching the game, and I'm telling them, I'm like, yo, in the second half, I need Sam to throw this bitch 25 times in the
Facts.
second half of this game. Like,
Facts.
this is supposed to be. I said, Scott is treating this game like we got a chance to go to the playoffs, bro. That ship sailed last week.
Hell yeah.
What are we doing? This is an evaluation of Sam Howell. So, what better way to evaluate him than to let him throw? The most frustrating possession was we moving it. It's 23-6. We get inside the red zone, inside the 10, and we run it 3 times in a row. It's 3rd and 4, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna let Sam throw it on his 3rd down, right? No, handed it to Jared Patterson one more time. He gets 2 yards and they kick a damn field goal. I'm like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Let Sam cook.
When they didn't go for the 4th down on that side, when we were on there, I think it was a goal to go or it was close to goal to go, and they didn't go for the 4th and short. I was like, what are we actually doing right now?
Yeah, no. They was treating this like we had a chance to get in. And I sat down because I often do this.
They're waiting on that 8th playoff spot to open up.
Which they wouldn't have got anyway. But I sat there and I thought about it. I said, I know why they played so well. It's 2 reasons. One, we had a lot of energy out there. It was a lot of young boys that been chomping at the bit to get out there. Like even Jared Patterson. I'm not a big Jared Patterson fan. He looked good.
He did.
I was like, damn. He had me talking crazy. Like, not only would I prefer him over Jonathan Williams,
Gibson.
No,
JD.
JD. I said,
okay.
You know what? I'm ready to be done with JD if I can get this from him all the time, right? Because that is something about this short ass dude behind a big ass line and people just lose you. Like there's something to that. But
this is a Caps jersey, no Cowboys. I don't know what y'all talking crazy in the chat. This is like OV jersey. What we talking about?
They wilding.
They big
I mean, they don't see the big ass Stanley Cup in the
that's the biggest shit on this chart.
And then my other reason was, so we had fresh bodies out there. Like at this time of the year, everybody tired. We had a bunch of young boys out there ready to go. And then we don't play well when there's pressure on us, when there's expectations, when we're supposed to win or it's a big spot and their best is required. We play well when the odds are stacked against us. We got nothing to lose, and we can just go out and play loose and easy. Our best game before this game was the Eagles game in week 10, right? 11-point dogs on the road. Eagles are undefeated. We're not going to win this game, right? So you go in there, you play loosey-goosey, you have fun, and what you do, you go in there and you beat those boys, right? I think there's this block with this team. And I think it starts with the head coach because I think teams take on the identity of their head coach. Ron was tight. Their coach was going for it on 4th and 9. He was like, fuck it, shit, what we got to lose, right? We're going to go in here, we're going to play to win. Ron was playing not to lose.
Yep.
You know, we got a 4th and 4 and he want to punt. I'm like, bro, what kind of a tone are you setting?
Loser mentality.
That's all it is. So in my mind, I think that they didn't have anything to lose. Everybody counted them out, and they do really well in those situations where they feel like, oh, they think we're going to lay down. We ain't going to lay down. And there's something to them white jerseys, too. White on white, it still carries over. That's
magic.
I don't know. I'm just telling y'all, it's something about the white on whites. Like, we should have worn them. We should have worn them shits against the Giants. They didn't know that game because, you know, the jersey schedule comes out before the season. So it's not like they need to stop that shit. Like, dictate what you gonna wear because they used to figure out what they was gonna wear
week to week.
Right.
Facts.
Like that Giants game should have been white on white because we don't win in burgundy on burgundy. So.
Like, don't let the people who run guest experience pick the uniform combinations in May. Like, no, we'll do that shit on a week-to-week basis. We'll let our opponents know to dress accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Because there is magic and there is Space Jam-like secret stuff. And when we wear the white-on-white combination, I don't know what it is either, but there is definitely some truth behind it. Major Taddy with the 199 said, would you bring him in and risk it? Who are we talking about? He said, would I bring him in and risk it? I don't even know who we're talking about. You got to remind me. We talked about a lot of people. Oh, no. Don't tell me it's one of the trolls. I'm not going in today. God damn it. Nah.
Oh,
you got, bro.
God damn it.
You just got.
It's luck. That was luck.
It's
He
probably
just got
fucking luck. Nah, son, you're not gonna get me with that D's nut shit today. God damn it, I just
got.
we ain't even an hour in, and I
He
just got
man.
already.
Come on, Rio. You supposed to be better than that.
You hate to see it for real, man. We were just about to go into what our off-season grades were. I mean, what our regular season grades for the season. I was gonna start with coaching, but apparently I just got my ass got again. God damn it, bro. He came in with the mascot alias today and got my ass again. You a good motherfucker, man.
Man down.
Yeah, man down, there. Man down.
Hey, salute to this man. Look, this guy has more YouTube aliases than fucking James, but like he's crazy, man. He's this is a wild boy. And
saw that one a mile away.
Hell yeah, Lou was ready for that shit. You know what I'm saying? I've been out the game. I'm rusty right now, bro. I'm still trying to get my football legs back under me. But we're going with regular season. How would you, or instead of grading this season, like a one-sentence synopsis, how would you describe this season? Starting with Ed. How would you describe the 2022 Commanders season?
Oh, man. I would say slow, man. We start too slow. Ron's always good for a slow start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were at 2-4, and then he wants to wake up in the middle of the season. So it's always that way. It's the same song with Ron. You know, he did it last year. We go on a 4-game win streak. We're 6-6, and then we get beat by Dallas, and then we go. You know, we finish up 7-10. This time, you know, he got me. I really thought we were going to go into the playoffs. You know, we were 7-5, 7-5-1. I thought, yeah, we're shooting for the wild card. But it was a big letdown. And he just starts off slow. He said today too, they're probably, if he is back, they're probably going to do a joint training camp. And I think that's something that could help. It doesn't mean you're going to start winning games off the jump, because there's other teams that have done joint practices. They still have bad seasons, but yeah, I think that's something that definitely can help. I think we do come out too slow preseason. He said practice, they take it easy in practice because they had injuries and stuff like that. But I do think they need to ramp it up. I do think we need to have better competition in training camp for sure. But yeah, the slow starts. Ron's just too slow. He's too old, always slow in making decisions and switching it up. But I would say roller coaster too. It was a roller coaster ride going from Wentz. That first game from Wentz, I was excited for Wentz when he went out there and threw 4 touchdowns.
I was on clouds talking crazy.
Yeah, I was excited, man. I really was. I was excited for Wentz. Then I saw the Lions game and the Eagles game, and I was like, yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Then Heineke came in. Brian Robinson got better. Brian Robinson got shot. It was just a lot of stuff going on. So I would say a roller coaster ride for sure.
Hell yeah. That little like JP Finley posted, like Pete Haley cut up like he put
81 seconds.
Yeah, it was 81 seconds of fire and craziness. You would think we were watching some shit written by Shonda Rhimes on ABC instead of being an actual football team. It's crazy. All of that is one season. That is the one season experience for this team. And I'm going to go quickly because mine is short. Mine is sustained mediocrity and Mickey Mouse win streaks. Mickey Mouse win streaks are those pointless 3 to 5 game stretches we have every year that makes us think our lives have changed. It makes us feel like we are rehabilitated. We are a new organization. And then boom, it comes right back in our face. And we're the same guys we were in the year before. And the coaches that we currently have are repeating the sins of their predecessors. This happens every single time. And even though we got this 8th win versus Dallas, I don't feel like in 3 years under Ron Rivera's tutelage, hiring of everybody from every level of the organization, we've improved really at all. If anything's improved, it was just that players actually got better, like Payne going for 12 sacks as an interior lineman in a contract year. Guys got better, but the team really collectively, and especially the coaching, has not got better in 3 years. So sustained mediocrity and Mickey Mouse win streaks. That's how I would describe the 2022 season. Lou, what's your synopsis of the season, my friend?
Yeah, Ed took my word. I was just going to go one word, roller coaster. But consistently inconsistent is what I'll go with. Like you said, Ed said slow starts to the season. my thing all offseason was the schedule makers blessed us. This is it. This is the schedule, even down to the bye week being week 14, so you can recharge the battery at the end if you need it for a stretch run. Like, everything was set up. And they said, hey, we're going to drop a little Cleveland in the back end of your schedule just to make sure if y'all struggling and y'all need one, you got one. Mm-hmm. And you started us off with Jacksonville in the line. Like, what more do you want? Like, they blessed us. Mm-hmm. And to the point where we didn't play 2 straight road games until weeks 10 and 11 against Philadelphia and Houston. That's the only stretch where we had 2 straight road games and 3 out of 4 on the road. Everything else was home, away, home, away, home. Like, this was set up for success. You're playing the AFC South. You're playing the NFC North. This is set up for success. And we somehow managed to botch it. And the start to the season was frustrating. I always go back to the loss that hurt me the most was the Tennessee loss.
Oh, my God.
That's the one that we should be in the playoffs. If we win that game, we in the playoffs. But you go through that stretch, and then to Ed's point, I got reeled in, hook, line, and sinker. I had told the fan base, I said, bro, you know Ron gonna get us a 4-game heater, right? Every year we get one.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? We never got 4 this year. It was always 3, right? But it was 2 separate 3 pieces. And so he got us. Like, I was like, at 7 and 5, who didn't think we were going to the playoffs?
Bro, I was out here seeing who we was going to play in the playoff. I was planning a road trip, bro.
Man, who you telling? Bro, Vegas had us at 7.5 wins.
91%.
I was shitting on Vegas after week 12 when we beat Atlanta. I'm like, what? 7 wins? I had a Super Friends stream, and LB said, y'all ain't making the playoffs. I would have bet him everything I owned at that moment. Like, are you effing kidding me? I know, right? Look, I said JC be saving me, bro. He be like, hey, you being real reckless, but I got you, bro. You ain't never got to worry. I got you. We 7-5-1, and I'm like, bro, we should have beat the Giants in New York. I'm like, we definitely beating these boys after the bye. Are you kidding me? 12 and it come out with the effort that we did in that game. I knew I kept trying to psych myself up. Like, I knew we was going to lose to San Francisco, but like, we'll come back home, we'll beat Cleveland, and we'll have a shot in week 18, right? That's what everybody was thinking, right?
Hell yeah.
That's 2 years in a row we had collapses. And then this is why when everybody was getting hyped, and I had people getting mad at me, it was Dallas. So there was a bit of solace taken in the fact that it was Dallas and it was Dakota. And Dakota needed an ass whooping. We needed to deliver one of those to him. I'm sick of that shit. But we beat the Giants in a similar fashion last year in a game that nobody gave a shit about.
Versus Jake Fromm.
Versus Jake Fromm, right? From State Farm. And, Bobby McCain had 2 picks, and it all was right with the world for some. And I'm like, that shit didn't carry over.
Didn't move the needle.
It didn't carry over at all. Now everybody thinks that this one, the only difference here is that it was Sam Howell. I think that's the only reason that this one felt a little different. But what a disappointing, like, could you get a more disappointing? Like, we went so meekly into the night against Cleveland. Like, I'm sitting there watching that game with my dad, and he picked Cleveland, but he was like, I don't really trust neither one of y'all, but I'm gonna go with Cleveland because y'all ain't shit. And I was like, okay, fair enough. You're gonna lose this game, but fair enough. And I'm watching this shit, and I'm like, yo, get him after the second pick, get his ass out of there, Ron. Get him out of there, Ron. He's struggling. Get him out of there, Ron. The worst thing that happened to us the entire season was that 21-play, 96-yard drive that took 11 minutes because it instilled false confidence in Ron that, hey, Carson about to turn this shit around. And he won't. Yeah. His ass should have been benched. We would have won that game.
Big facts. I mean, there's always trials and tribulations and false hope. We're always giving false hope at some point of the season. Rico, how are you summing up this year, man?
For me, missed opportunities. First of all, Lou has a great point with the schedule. That's literally what I was going to talk about. He said it better than I could. So I'm going to go ahead and move on from that. Because, I mean, next year's schedule is not what this schedule was, like, at all. They gave us this schedule to go to the playoffs. And then even just the playoff, the way it's set up, the 49ers are the only team that I think people should really even honestly be afraid of. I felt like even if we made it and were matched up against the Vikings in the first round, we had a chance to win that. That's another missed opportunity. Of course, the schedule as well. Of course, me with like how the season ended up, I feel like this was worst case scenario. We ended up not with a great pick to make any real change, especially at quarterback if we wanted to. And then we also didn't make the playoffs. I mean, it was like worst case scenario I felt like I was in the boat of go ahead and play Sam Howell after Carson Wentz got hurt against the Bears, play him against the Packers. Maybe you lose the Packers game. Taylor Heineke won you that game because Taylor Heineke is better than Sam Howell in October. But I felt like by the time we got to the Giants game in November, Sam Howell would be better than Taylor Heineke after a few games under his belt. And I felt like worst case scenario, he's terrible. We have a better draft pick to replace him. And so again, this was worst case scenario result for me, especially as a draft guy, not make the playoffs, but also not have that one of those picks. Just missed opportunities left and right. I felt like even just Jahan getting hurt, I thought he had an honest chance to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Him Absolutely. Getting hurt the way he did was another missed opportunity. Would have loved for him to win that. I'm glad Chase Young got to play a couple of games at the end of the season, even though he still doesn't have a pass rush plan. But at least there's some film.
And we're not hating for pointing out a fact that he still does not have even the slightest of a pass rush plan. Buddy just be out there with a high motor running around on pass plays, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
You gotta get that Ryan Kerrigan bull rush going, man.
I understand
something.
He going. Don't worry. He going to the Von Miller. He going to the Von Miller passing camp this summer. Don't worry.
Don't get injured at it this time. Don't re-aggravate your knee at it this time because that shit definitely happened back in June. And don't forget, you're nursing a knee injury. Your fucking hands work too. You can work on your hand movement. I don't even want him to go to the Von Miller camp. I want him to spend the summer on a farm with the Bosa brothers. Just sit out there and knock around bales of hay and do farming shit and learn how to use your hands so you can come back with a bag. Come back with a pass rushing bag. Sweat and Young, if they were taught how to finish, we would have the best edge rushing sack duo that the league's seen in this. They would be fucking like Freeney and Mathis of this generation because they're twitchier, but one can't finish at the quarterback, and the other one struggles with the plan to get to the quarterback, but they both play to run well. So that's what they get to fall back on, and we get to keep saying, but the potential. And to go off of missed opportunities, I think the biggest opportunity is that we did not get to see more of Sam Howell because you cannot convince me that at the worst of both of the other quarterbacks' abilities, that Sam could not give us most of that because they didn't really do anything a rookie quarterback with talent could not do. That, and we had so many chances, bro. We had so many chances. The Vikings game, we blew it with a 10-point lead with 11 minutes left. Right. The Titans game, we blew it at the 1-yard line. We had the Giants in the fourth, in overtime. We got to their 41 and did nothing. And then we punted for a tie. And then we had 2 weeks to prepare for the same Giants team at home on primetime in front of the whole nation, and we scored 12 points. The refs did not help us that night, but neither did we because 12 points versus a divisional rival at home. And just to put that in a bow, the only 30-point game we had all season came only because Casey Toohill picked up a fucking lateral on the final snap of the game. Our offense did not produce one 30-point game in the entirety of the 2022 season. So anybody out there caping for Scott Turner, please accept the fact that he didn't have an offense score more than 26 points one time in the entire season. Period. Well, 27 versus the Lions, but that was we know how that game went. But
28 against Jacksonville.
Jackson. Oh, yeah, 28, first game of the season. 4 touchdowns. No 30-point performances by the offense. But going into the offseason, once again, question mark at the quarterback position. We didn't get enough sample size to say Sam should be the guy. You can say Sam can compete to be the guy. Sam should be a part of the plan. What are your plans? What do you think we should do at the quarterback position? What do you think Ron does at the quarterback position? Ed, start us up.
For me, it's a lame duck season. With Ron Rivera, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get 7 or 8 wins. That's his MO. He's had losing seasons. I forgot the stats in his career, but he's had 3 winning seasons and a whole bunch of losing seasons.
Out of 12. 3 out of 12 are winning seasons.
Yeah, he was a mastermind of making the playoffs at like 7-9 with Carolina. I know he did that before too with Carolina. Yeah, it's a lame duck season. So I honestly, I would just keep Sam. I would probably start him because I can't do the retread route anymore. I can't do the Fitzpatrick. I can't do the Carson Wentz. I can't keep getting guys that have been on 3 teams in 3 years. Fitzpatrick 10 teams in 10 years. A couple years ago we got Case Keenum. He's been on multiple teams in the last couple of years. Like we keep doing this retread thing. Kyle Allen's of the world. I like Heineke a lot, but we just can't keep doing this. We gotta look at the NFC East. Dak was drafted. Daniel Jones has gotten better. He was drafted. Jalen Hurts was drafted. Pat Mahomes drafted. Josh Allen drafted. A lot of the quarterbacks in the playoffs, they're drafted.
And most of
we're
them
not
getting
picks. The first round picks. We're not getting Aaron Rodgers. We're not getting stop with the Lamar Jackson because I've seen a lot of people with this Lamar Jackson crazy. We're not getting these guys. We're not getting Aaron Rodgers. Derek Carr is realistic, but I don't want Derek Carr. It feels like Carson Wentz all over again, but he's better than Carson Wentz. But it smells like 8 to 9 wins. 9 is the ceiling with Derek Carr, in my opinion. And then you're going to have to give up more picks to get him, and you're probably going to trade more than what you gave up for Carson Wentz because Derek Carr is better than Carson Wentz. So you're probably going to have to give up a second round and not a conditional. It probably has to be just a straight up second round pick in the third instead of the conditional, in my opinion.
For a guy that will probably inevitably be released.
Yeah, probably. They're going to trade him. Somebody else is going to trade for him. Maybe like the Jets or something like that because the Jets have a good defense. So I can see them being desperate and trying to get Derek Carr because they're done with Zach Wilson. But yeah, I just can't do the retread route again. Maybe if you want to get a veteran backup like a Tyrod Taylor, or I know somebody brought up Jacoby Brissett just to give him a little bit of competition. But you got to see what you got in Sam. And I wouldn't rule out drafting a quarterback too. We got to get some young guys in here and see what we can do and develop them. I'm happy that Scott Turner won't be the offensive coordinator to develop Sam Howell. I'm excited about that. That's probably the best news. Yeah, that's the best news I've gotten all year.
Facts.
So yeah, I would see what we got in Sam.
That ain't the best news you got all year. The best news you got was when you found out Dan was possibly selling his damn team.
Well, that was last year.
Yeah, that's 2022. That's 2022.
Okay, you're right.
Season. Yeah.
Right.
So my and then what I think Ron's gonna do, I think Jimmy G, and I said Jimmy G 2 weeks ago. I've already made up in my mind that Jimmy G is going to be wearing a number 10 Commanders jersey. That's just a wrong move because they said run, pass. Jimmy G, what do they do with the Niners with Jimmy G? Run with Debo, run with Christian McCaffrey, run with the other running back that they got. I can't remember his name for the Niners. You said what's his name?
Elijah Mitchell.
That's what they want to do. Run, pass. Jimmy G is perfect for what they want to do. Old school football. Don't turn the ball over. Win 16-13. Jimmy G is perfect for that. So if I had to put money down, I think Jimmy G is going to be the guy that Ron Rivera ends up getting because you don't have to trade for him.
I think Ron, because they said that's the guy we love this offseason.
And he was reportedly tied to Jimmy G too, but he lied and said that they didn't want him. That's a lie. Yep. He wanted Jimmy G.
Yep, and Mayhew has the connection. You know, these guys love their connections over here. My thing, though, I think Jimmy G may eventually be over there with the New York Jets. I think him and Robert Saleh could eventually link back up. I think if we get Jimmy G, it's going to be in an overpay because dude's got better options than here. Because this is a situation that money talks, but I just don't. I think guys will have better options than coming to Washington. I think Ron is going to try to get Carr and Garoppolo, and that's going to be the big swing that he tries to sell to us fans. He's going to throw another swing in there and try to get a guy like Ryan Tannehill if he's available from the Titans. But I think we're going to settle for a Bridgewater, Brissett type veteran, or we're going to run it back with Heineke as the primary backup, and they're just going to evaluate Howell and hope Howell takes us to the promised land next year with the new offensive coordinator. I think it's going to be Howell and Heineke or Howell and another middling, no-name Jag. Like, that's what it's going to be next year. What I would do personally, but I don't want Ron picking our long-term solution at quarterback. I would try to trade my ass up to get whoever doesn't go number one if someone trades with the Bears. Like, I want Stroud or Young. I want the top of the class. I want one of those two. But we're not going to do that. But just for those who say it's impossible to get Jared Goff, the Rams went from the 15th to the number 1 pick. So it's been done before. And in that same draft, Eagles went from 8-2 to get Carson Wentz. So it is possible to maneuver that to get Josh Allen. The Bills had to trade up twice from 22, from somewhere in the teens to 7 to get Josh Allen. So maneuvering can be done. These are not the boys to maneuver because they play chess, not checkers every year. Lou, what is the quarterback plan and what do you see actually happening?
So I think y'all both kind of covered the bases there. I've said this numerous times. I don't want anybody in this organization picking a quarterback that somebody that isn't here right now may be left with. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't want any more retreads. I don't even want them drafting a dude personally, like, because if they get fired, now the next GM and the next coach has to come in and evaluate this guy and figure out, is this a guy we want to move forward with? And we're not in a position to be wasting draft capital. So as far as I'm concerned, I would prefer them to not do anything at quarterback. Just roll with Sam Howell. To your point, you want to go with a backup, not name Heineke, knock yourself out. You know what I mean? I think that they're excited about Sam Howell. Mayhew said that he practiced this way and then it carried over onto the field. And a lot of guys, you don't always get that from them. I think they feel good about Howell. I think you're right. I think they're going to swing at some veterans, though. I don't think they're going to stop because I think they realize that they're coaching for their jobs.
Oh, hell yeah.
So they know, and Ron's been in this position before. He knows that I get 1 year, and he didn't even get a full year in Carolina.
Yep, David Tepper got that ass out of there.
Same thing happened in Denver this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before the new ownership comes in, the GM, George Patton, had already hired Nathaniel Hackett and traded for Russell Wilson. Yep. So all of this has already been set in motion. New ownership comes in. They go into these games. They big wigs. They like, yeah, we spending this Walmart bread.
Hire buddy on Christmas.
And this man gave up a 50 spot. I mean, a 50 burger on Christmas. All right, get your shit and get out of here, man.
Yeah, bro. Like, so, I hope you had a happy holiday, but
yeah,
turn your key card in.
You got to get out of here. And so at the end of the day, he knows because he's been through this before. I got literally 12 games to prove myself. You know, so I got to make sure that I give myself the best chance. And if that's Derek Carr in their minds, if that's Jimmy Garoppolo in their minds, they're going to try and do it. But to your point, I think these guys, Derek Carr's brother, David, already said, I played the clip on my show. His brother's looking for a stable. He said it twice. He didn't say it once. Stable. Like, that word is not synonymous with Washington. We're the opposite.
Like a direct shot. Like, please don't come after me.
Don't even call us. Don't even hit the agent up. Right? Don't even waste our time. Don't hit our line at all. So
when they see the area code, they sending it to voicemail.
Send that straight to voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
We're good.
I think they're gonna go after somebody. I think, like I said, you guys hit it on the head. It's either Heineke or it's some other middle of the road backup, but they're going to swing like they always do. Swing for Stafford, miss. Swing for Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, miss. They're going to do that in the offseason. And this time, instead of them settling like they did for Ryan Fitzpatrick and like they did for Carson Wentz, then they're just going to say, we're going to roll with Sam Howell.
Rico, what we doing in the offseason?
Well, first of all, offseason wise, Chase Young with that pass rush move, we just need to get him the little Ip Man little wooden thing that he can work with all day. Just let him do that all day. Also, before I talk about quarterback, shout out to Ron Rivera for being so great at being average. He found a way to go 500 in a 17-game season. Gotta respect that. He has a certain MO, and he figured out how to do that.
I thought what he was going to do was corner the market and go 7 wins 3 different ways for Washington, because remember, he was 7-9 in 2020, 7-10 because they added a game. He was about to go 7-9-1 this year. I thought this man was about to revolutionize the game of ways to win 7 games. He said,
no. And you know what's crazy that you say that, because he was 7-8-1 in Carolina. the year they won the division. So hey, this man, he can find different ways to get 7, man.
Hey.
So he was this close to doing it in a different way.
We can attack success the way Ron attacks a 7-win season.
We all
may
be
cooking
prosperous, bro. We be over here thriving, boy.
Hell yeah, bro. Go ahead, Rico.
But of course, in fantasy land, I wasn't a big CJ Stroud fan like that until what he did against my Georgia Bulldogs. I felt like we tried to throw everything at him, man coverage, zone coverage, anything between Ryan Day and CJ Stroud finally using his legs, making off schedule plays and things like that. I mean, I could argue that was the best quarterback play I've seen against my Bulldogs, even including Bryce Young these past couple of years. I mean, that made me a believer. I would love to get him, but I already know Ron Rivera doesn't trade up. Justin Fields was relatively in range, and we didn't trade up to get him. I doubt they're going to trade up even further than when Justin Fields went to get CJ Stroud, even though the only slight hope in my fantasy land that we may try is remember last year when they went to Ohio State's Pro Day, they specifically asked him about receivers, and he talked about CJ Stroud first. Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything to that, but again, I still doubt it.
That would be an amazing swing if we went up for CJ Stroud. But I know that ain't in Ron's blood or his DNA, but that would be crazy. Oh, my guy with the donation, with the super chat, would y'all trade Payne to get up and get the Bears' #1 pick? It would take something. It would take a haul that Ron's not capable of paying. But what would y'all do it?
I would do anything.
Me too.
Yeah.
These two quarterbacks, like, it's no such thing as can't miss, but this is as close as you're gonna get. Like, you feel good, like how everybody felt about Andrew Luck and Joe Burrow.
Bring they ass.
Like, this is how you feel about these two dudes. So it would have been even better if the Bears would have just been 2, and you like, look, just. You could take the option out of my hand because it's going to cost you a lot less to get the 2. Like, they're going to sodomize somebody at 1. I'm talking about breaking a broomstick in half with splinters. I'm talking about they really going to, Vaseline, bro. It's going to get ugly. Somebody's giving up like 3 1s and you giving up players too. Like, it's going to be messy. If I'm the Bears, I know I know what you're coming for. You're coming for a quarterback. So that price, the price of the pack didn't changed significantly to the point where if you're a Washington fan and you want to go up, I'm all for it. I mean, we've done it before. We did with Robert Griffin III, right?
Yep.
It's gonna cost more than that, though.
Yeah, you got to be willing to pay that price because you're getting what you pay for. You want Gucci, you got to pay Gucci prices.
It wouldn't be Duron though. It would be Montez Sweat.
I think it would be Montez Sweat too, and I would take him. I like Montez Sweat a whole lot. Yeah. I like Montez Sweat's game. I think he's replaceable. I think he's really good. I don't think.
What if they said, because Justin Field needs receivers, right? What if they said we want 3 first? So call it 2, right? Because you'll swap ones this year.
Mm-hmm.
2, so the one in 24 and the one in 25, and then they say we want Jahan and we want Tez. Would you do that?
Not Jahan. You can get Curtis Samuel and Tez. You're not touching Jahan. Terry and Jahan.
They probably don't want Curtis.
They probably don't want him either, especially with an expiring contract after next season. But now you're getting too much dip on your chip now. That boy Jahan is different, bro.
Okay. So he's a 1. So Jahan's a 1, right? So instead of an actual 1. Okay, so let's take away a 1 and throw Jahan in. Because if I'm Washington, I'm not giving you another 1 on top of another 1. He's going into his second year. So
that's like either or.
Like a draft pick. You know
that's either or. Yeah.
Which would you do that?
Yes. I do it. Brad's a quarterback. I love Jahan Dotson. Love him, bro. I would draft another Jahan Dotson, bro.
Yeah, then you get into the territory where you got Terry. You're kind of back and stuck where you can't really rely on Curtis, and then Terry's your number 1. So we're kind of in that wide receiver territory we were before.
But you know what you got.
But you got to draft one. Yeah, that's
you got a nigga that's going to put the ball on their chest and hands on a consistent. You have the future on the roster, bro.
You know what was the most impressive about Sam Howell? The deep balls were great. I love that read option that the option, that triple option that he pulled and cut back against the grain, and that shit was beautiful.
That shit was fire.
It was how many times have we seen catch and run opportunities with guys catching it in stride, not having to go behind them, go down, go up, just literally catch the football and keep running. Jahan had 2 in one game. I can't remember the last time one player had 2 catch and run opportunities in one game. Terry had one for the touchdown. He had another one he dropped on a third down. Jahan had 3, actually. He had the 2 slants, one going in opposite directions. And then he had to catch the comeback that you talked about, where he led him up the field on the outside shoulder away from it. I thought Jahan was going to beat that angle and go up the sideline on him. Like, he barely got his ankle, but how often have we seen that in Washington? I mean, even going back before this crew this year.
It was like since Kirk.
You got to go back to Kirk, bro. You got to go back to Kirk.
That's so sad. They've been waiting on the ball. They've been breaking their hip to turn for the ball. It's been every type of direction. That's why I would be willing to do that for a quarterback. But we are in fantasy land because we know Ron ain't swinging. He ain't swinging for the homer, bro. Ron is happy to get on base. But Rico, start us off. You can tell us what your quarterback prediction is, but give us your biggest move or biggest thing Washington needs to accomplish in the offseason. And I see what you're trying to do with this super chat, by the way. You're not going to get me this time. You only got one Z on this name, Dez, but I know what you're trying to do, bro. Like, y'all not getting me no more tonight, bro. I'm
way to be on it, bro.
I'm with it this time, bro. I see you. Go ahead, Rico.
Thank you. To go back real quick too, I definitely would like to give Sam Howell the 2023 season. If he misses, we're in position to get one of those next quarterbacks, because a lot of people are higher on Caleb Williams and Drake May than even CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. We'll see. And maybe the new ownership, new GM, new head coach will probably be willing to take that swing and trade up even if they had to. So give Howell 2023. I'm cool with that. Again, to Lou's point, that being able to throw it where receivers can catch it in stride is rare. We have not seen that. Give them the chance. But yeah, as far as the biggest thing that we need to get done, I'm thinking I want to go corner in the first round, but I feel like offensive line is like, we got to figure that out. To me, move Samuel Cosme to right guard, give Chris Paul at least the opportunity to compete at left guard from what I saw against the Cowboys. But you sign right tackle, and not little Andrew Norwell, Trey Turner, $3 million per year. You go get a guy for $15 million a year plus in the offseason at right tackle, or whatever you got to do. Again, I think you move Samuel Cosme to guard. I feel like he's better in a phone booth than out there in the open. And you let him be a road grazer in the run game and things like that. You got to figure out center and right tackle. Most importantly, I feel like.
Oh yeah, I would love us to go corner at 16, but I'm not sure Ron has ever taken a DB in the first round in his entire 12 years of coaching. I may be wrong. I think I'm right, but has he ever taken a corner in the first as a coach? He definitely hasn't here. I'm not sure he did in Carolina.
I think he took Dante Jackson in the first round.
Was he there when Dante Jackson was the pick? Okay, that was him. Okay, I thought that was a the college coach after him. What the fuck was Matt Rule? I thought that was a Matt Rule pick.
Yeah, he was Dante Jackson was there for probably.
He went in the first?
Yeah, he was the first.
Oh, I thought he was second. I
could be wrong. I thought he was late.
Ron is not a big DB in the first round.
I thought he was a late first round pick guy.
He likes guys in the trenches, but I think the priority move should be trying their hardest to get Duran signed to a long-term deal. They put a microphone in Duran's face when he was cleaning out his locker. This man done showed up to the premises in a money green tracksuit. He said, "Oh, y'all know what I'm looking for this offseason." He didn't shy away from it or nothing. He said, "You know what I'm looking for, and it's going to happen this offseason." Pay Duran Payne and figure the rest out along the way.
You were right. He was a second round pick.
The second. Mm-hmm. So Ron has never drafted a corner in 12 years in the first round. That's crazy. Ron in 3 years hasn't taken a quarterback in the first round. Ron never drafts DBs. Those are two very important positions. You know, I guess his life was made for him when he inherited the team with the #1 overall pick when he took the Panthers job. So he literally walked into Cam Newton like a blessing. Like he just dropped on his doorstep like the stork left Cam at his front door. But Yeah, man. Deron Payne's the priority for me this offseason. I would say quarterback, but I don't expect a big swing. And I think Sam Howell and Heineke or some other vet's going to be the guy. So Deron Payne's my priority offseason move. Ed, yours?
Cutting Carson Wentz first. That's the biggest priority to me. You got to free up that. Yeah, you got to free up that cap space, man, because get the $26 million, $28 million off the books, and we make some moves. But yeah, offensive line is a problem, man. Leno, he wasn't good this year either. He had a down year. I hope he wins the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, but he struggled this year for sure. Norwell, Trey Turner, they got to go. They got to revamp this offensive line. I don't know what they're going to do with Rie either because of the injuries. They may have to find another center as well.
We have to, for sure.
Yeah. So the whole offensive line, in my opinion, is a problem, man. It's a huge concern. It's a really big concern. Cam Curl's coming up for a contract too. I want to say next year too. So somebody asked Ron about that in the press conference today too. And then
they should pay him this offseason.
Yeah, and Deron Payne too. But the biggest thing for me, other than cutting Carson Wentz, is the offensive line. I saw DMV Sports Zone. He said Lamar Jackson to DC. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. People doing the photoshops already. This is what happened with Russell Wilson last year. Aaron Rodgers.
Ron not paying the 3 first round, 2 seconds, a third, and a fifth. Like if Watson with 20 civil cases can get what he got, Lamar Jackson with a clean character sheet is going to get more. Ron not paying that.
He don't even fit the style of offense they want to run.
Hell no, and we don't even have a style of offense right now.
Whatever it is, it ain't Lamar Jackson. I'll show you that for Ron and company, especially with him being injured.
Hell yeah, but you go ahead and finish it.
Oh yeah, once again, cut Carson Wentz.
Lou, what's the priority offseason move for this team?
I mean, y'all pretty much hit it on the head, man. Deron Payne gets signed.
Do you think we can get him signed, or you think it's going to definitely be franchise?
I think that he's going to get franchise tag. There will not be a deal done, but similar to Terry and Jonathan Allen, as we've seen,
summertime,
it's going to get done right before camp. Like when that pressure is applied, and you have, I think with franchise dudes, you got to a certain date. It ain't like where Terry was, not on the franchise tag, but that last, like you got to a certain point with franchise tag dudes. So it's like July, like 16th or something. You got it. So we'll get to like July 14th, 15th or something, whenever that date is. When we pressing up against that deadline, and he'll get a long-term deal, I feel. But I don't think he'll be like before the start of the new league year. So he'll be on the franchise tag initially. We've been down that road before. We hope that he doesn't play under it, because if he does, he's gone. You know what I'm saying? But get Payne back, and the offensive line needs to be reworked and revamped. And we need a nickel corner. So who knew Danny Johnson could play so well outside? I thought he was an inside dude.
Oh, it was Danny Johnson's season on Sunday versus Dallas. It was like the young folks invitational versus Dallas on Sunday. All the young Percy Butler looked like he belonged. He looked like he was making Bobby McCain expendable on the roster on Sunday.
Why do we have to beg for that? That's my problem. Khalil Hudson, we don't got no depth at linebacker. We've been watching David Mayo and John Bostic play all year. You telling me Khalil Hudson can't get on the field at all? That's what you've been telling me for 2-3 years now? Like he can't get no run. You telling me that, hey, Bobby, I love Bobby McCain, man. Love his vocal leadership, love his accountability that he holds guys to. You telling me Percy Butler can't get on the field? We said the versatility of Percy Butler, his ability to also play over the slot, was supposed to be one of the reasons we were drafting him.
Facts.
Bobby is getting cooked inside. The touchdown we gave up against Dallas. What are you doing in zone coverage? You're just gonna let him run right past you, and you going outside to nowhere. There's no other threat on your side of the field. Where you going?
Big facts, man. Big fact. But
I think I would say the only thing with Khalil Hudson, the only reason I could believe that maybe they just tried their hardest not to throw him out there, because they even threw Dijon out there before him. His rookie contract ending, maybe they just didn't feel like having to think and make a decision on whether to bring him back or not. Maybe they just wanted to be like, let him go, and maybe we can bring him back to the practice squad for cheap or so. I don't know. I think they were just trying to avoid a decision.
I don't know what the hell it was. Whatever it was dumb as hell.
It was definitely dumb as hell. And moving on to, do we bring him back or do we let him go? Cole Holcomb. Start with you, Ed. Do you re-sign Cole Holcomb to this roster?
It depends on the money. He hasn't been injury prone. This was his first year where he really missed a good amount of games. He's a solid tackler. He's just solid. He's not great at one thing. He's solid. He's just solid. He's solid in coverage, not great. Solid tackler. They tried to play him on Mike, a linebacker. Worked out a little bit, but that's not really his position. They don't play a lot of linebackers anyway. They usually play 2 linebacker sets. But I wouldn't mind bringing him back. It just depends on the money. I personally don't think he's going to be back though. If I had to put money down. I think they're going to roll with Jamin. I think they're going to draft a linebacker. I think they do need to sign another linebacker too. They just don't have a lot of depth. But yeah, I would like to see him. I would like to see him come back. I don't think they bring him back though.
Yeah, I don't think he comes back either. I think we sign a vet and we draft a middle round guy. I don't think he's brought back. I don't think the money is going to be too crazy, but who knows what linebacker money is going to look like after Roquan Smith, who negotiated his own deal today, got 100 M's from the Ravens.
Yeah, he got paid before Lamar.
The Ravens got a whole quarterback they got to pay, and they struck a deal with a dude who just got there. He's a dog, though. Roquan, one of his Georgia Bulldogs. Roquan just got a quarterback contract. 5 years, $100 million. The first ever inside backer making $20 million a season. You love to see it for him. Don't need to go anywhere near that for Cole Holcomb. If his agent is talking crazy, it was nice having you for the few years here. I like what you brought to the team. Well, you're replaceable, though. I'm cool on Cole Holcomb. Louis T, are we bringing back Cole Holcomb in 2023?
Yes.
Okay.
You want me to elaborate?
Yeah, you can elaborate on it. What the numbers look like.
Yeah, worst case scenario, Cole wants to be here. That's the first thing. Is he wants to be here.
Okay.
And they want him back. Ron already spoke about, Cole Hogan when he did his whole long diatribe last week when he was asked when I lost my mind when he said that this was a successful season. And then he started naming dudes that he was, extremely happy with their progress and wanted to see more from him. Cole was one of the dudes he named. So I'm not surprised by Cole probably being back this year. And I like Cole. I thought that he did some really good things before he got injured. And I think he's a calming influence on the defense. He was the green dot guy. It's not going to cost you a lot. Worst case scenario, what you can do with him is give him a 1-year prove-it deal because he got injured.
True.
If you don't want to pay him a whole bunch of money and if you don't want to leave, but you want to try to maximize the deal that you get next year, you just sign a 1-year, $6 million deal or whatever. And then you just do that. I think he's going to be back personally. I think they really value Cole Holcomb. And I think they're going to use the injury against him and say, hey, look, we love you, but you got injured this year. And that may prompt him to take a 1-year prove-it deal or move on. But I think he's going to be back.
All right, Rico. Hey, somebody said Cole not even starting on Georgia today, bro. Y'all wild in the chat. Cole Holcomb, Rico, what's up?
Well, the main reason I'm really happy about Roquan getting paid is because that's great for recruiting. Like, Kirby can basically be like, yeah, you can take that petty little bit more NIL money with Texas, or you can come to Georgia and we'll get you your $100 million when you get to the NFL type of thing. So that's why I love it. But Cole Holcomb, Louis said everything I was literally gonna say. Like, I think Cole Holcomb wants to come back. I think he would come back for less money here than more money somewhere else. If it's like enough, like slight enough difference, I feel like he would come back. I feel like Jack Del Rio loves him. He loves Jack Del Rio. He loves this team. And I just think we ultimately end up bringing him back for cheaper than what people think, for sure. I think something similar to like with J.D. McKissick, where he, I feel like we're actually going to offer him in front this time and not let him go to another team. And actually, speaking of J.D. McKissick, I'm really sad about that whole situation because he could be on the Bills right now, and then he came back to us and barely played and got hurt.
And now
so I really feel sorry for him.
And Sheehan was talking about his neck injury as if it could be something really serious, like he might not play again serious.
I've already said that I thought his career was over. Like, you don't keep injuring your neck and have this be a problem. Like, the man missed the late portion of last season, and then he got hurt again this year, and he didn't come back. Like, we talking about a neck. We ain't talking about his ankle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I think his career might be done.
Same thing happened to Chris Carson, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what was weird with him, they always get into injury. Don't nobody ever talk about JD injury or nothing. Like it's just JD gets injured. Nobody really asks about him, and then he's on IR. Like it's an understood thing amongst the media.
Yep.
They don't talk about JD.
Hell yeah, because he gets the loyal guy of the century reward for coming back to this team over the title favorite media darling Buffalo Bills. Bless him for that. Big Money Sonny, appreciate you for the donation. He said, what's up, my good brothers? Y'all the best. Tough season, but it's starting to look good. When y'all gonna let a Latino like myself on the panel? We don't discriminate on the panel, man. We could definitely arrange that, bro. We could definitely make that happen. And he came with another one. He said, oh yeah, luck got all of y'all minus Ed. And this is an interesting one. Quaid said has a very interesting one. He said, please tell Rich or Roach, whatever. Rich. He said, please tell Rich Jahan is better.
Roach.
Yeah, I said, I'm walling. He said, please tell Rich that Jahan is better than Terry. We all see it on the field. Better route runner, hands releases, and he just coming out of college. My opinion on that is he was picked 16th in the draft compared to Terry coming out of as a third rounder that was supposed to be a gunner before Jay Gruden said, oh, get his ass off special team. He can run routes, and that boy can run, and he can catch. Terry, he's a better natural hands catcher than Terry. Terry catches everything with his chest. Terry manages to catch over the head chest deep balls. He manages to trap them with his forearms against his chest. He has better hands than Terry. I don't
know about that though.
I think he has better hands. I think he has better now. Well, he has had some drops.
Yeah, he's been dropping passes.
He's had some concentration drop, but Terry has a concentration drop here and there too. But also Terry traps everything into his chest and with his forearm. So ain't really nothing.
But he catch that bitch though.
He do catch that motherfucker.
That's the difference.
But Jahan's supposed to be better than Terry, at least at some point. I'm not giving him Terry yet because Terry manages to put up 1,000 yards with us four in the panel playing quarterback every year. We've played 3+ quarterbacks for 4 years straight. No number one receiver deserves that poverty-ass life. And if we don't change, I hope he requests a trade at some point. The writing's going to be on the wall because you saw what happened on the 4th down versus Cleveland. Terry subbed himself out the fucking game. We're going to see more of that if we keep giving him a revolving door at quarterback. Jahan not better than Terry today. Jahan will be better than Terry at some point.
I don't know about that either, man, to be honest with you.
I
think a lot of people just like the shiny new toy. I don't know if Jahan will ever be better than Terry. I think Jahan's going to be great. And I'm happy that we have this debate because we were in no man's land. Isaiah Wright. We talked about this before. I'm happy that we're having this debate, but I just don't see Jahan being better. I could be wrong, but I don't see it.
Well said, Ed, man. Everybody likes the shiny new toy, man.
For sure.
Terry is he's Woody. He's Woody. And Jahan's Buzz Lightyear, man.
Max.
But we already know when it's time to go to bed, Woody's gonna be right here next to Andy, man. I just know I feel comfortable on 3rd and 7.
Mm-hmm.
If I gotta throw it to somebody, I'm throwing it to 17. Yep. I'm gonna throw it to 17.
1-7. Rico.
Yeah, I agree. I think just solely based on draft positioning, technically you're supposed to expect Jahan to be better eventually, but Terry McLaurin, I feel like got it today. I can see a scenario where Jahan could end up being better, especially with him being a better natural hands catcher. He catches with his hand instead of his body, like Rio was talking about, like Terry does. But right now, Terry got it. I mean, Terry's the Pro Bowler. Now, granted, things could be interesting if Jahan never gets hurt, but Terry's the Pro Bowler, and the guy that's putting up 1,000 yards no matter who's at quarterback.
Oh, for sure. Appreciate you, Meta, for the 199. Said, but hallelujah, Scott trash ass is gone. Yep, Scott. I wonder who picks up Scott to be a part of their roster, and then in a couple years from now, we're gonna be looking at Scott getting
Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah, Bishop Sycamore, the fake school, though.
Blue Mountain State.
But hell yeah, that was my fucking show. I love Blue Mountain State, bro. I love that goofy ass show, man. But before we wrap this up, though. The playoff, the wild card round starts this week. We're looking at the AFC where the entire 7-team slate has a first-round quarterback on their squad. We got Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Herbert, Trevor, Tua, like the whole, and Burrow. The whole every seed in the AFC has a first-round quarterback on that roster, and then the few anomalies of people who found like franchise quarterbacks outside the first round exist. And the question mark that is the NFC. We have no idea who's going to win the NFC. And in the AFC, it's just a gauntlet of young, talented quarterback. How do y'all see this shit playing out? Who's your Super Bowl matchup now that we know what the brackets look like and who's winning it all this year? Ed.
I got the Chiefs coming out the AFC. Honestly, it's either the Chiefs or Bills for me, but the NFC, I haven't even thought about it, man.
It's so hard, bro.
It's because I feel like the Eagles are going to choke away. I feel like they're going to choke it away. I really do. Of course, the Cowboys are going to lose in the first round. The Vikings aren't winning it. They're going to choke. We know what Kirk Cousins does. I'm going to go with the Niners. Everybody's going with the Niners. I think Kyle Shanahan, he's going to do a good job. Brock Purdy, he's on fire right now. He's just, he's taking what the defense gives him. Kittle gets open. Is Debo supposed to be back in the playoffs too, if I'm not mistaken? So that's a big boost to them too.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I'm gonna go with the rematch. The Chiefs versus the Niners, where it came down to that last play where Jimmy G missed the pass. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs winning again, though. I got the Chiefs winning against the Niners.
Chiefs over the Niners. Rico.
Yeah, that's literally mine. I have the Chiefs coming out. I'm less sure about the Chiefs. I'm far more sure about the 49ers. The 49ers are the hottest team, arguably, in the NFL. The NFC is easier to run through than the AFC, like you talked about. Also, to add to your point, with the quarterback thing, 10 of the top 11 passing attacks, according to DVOA, are all in the playoffs as well. So this whole run first, run twice, then pass thing that
it's a myth.
It's already setting us up. We've already not made the playoffs next year today, just based on that philosophy.
Facts, because it's 2023.
It's just not going to work. But you have the 49ers. I think Debo, they said he was maybe even, like, if they needed to play him, he may have even played against us. I think he'll be good to go in the playoffs. Nobody's ready to see Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and all of those guys. So I take in Brock Purdy. Just looks like he's just out there having fun. Like, it's just too easy. Even though he's a little banged up, though. But I have the 49ers. I'm more sure about my 49ers making on the NFC side than the Chiefs making on the AFC side. But those are my two teams for the rematch. And instead of having Jimmy Garoppolo, they have Brock Purdy, who for some reason is better. And I may take the 49ers winning the Super Bowl at this point.
So the Niners to win it all.
Yeah, that's what I got right now. They started 3-4 and they haven't lost since.
Yep, they haven't lost a game since. Lou?
The preseason favorite for most people were the Buffalo Bills. I still see them as the team to beat. They would have been the number one seed had it not been for the tragic events of week 17 on Monday night. I think they would have beaten Cincinnati and been the number one seed. And so they've already proven 2 years in a row they have no problems going to Arrowhead and winning. They did it in the regular season last year. They did it in the regular season this year. They had them dead to rights last year in the playoffs in Arrowhead, and we all know about 11 seconds, but
overtime.
They changed the rules because of that. You know what I mean?
They changed the rules.
They're primed to go back to Kansas City if need be and win and get over the hump this year. And I think the whole Damar Hamlin thing is just going to be like this aura, that surrounds them, that gives them that extra added motivation. And so I see the Bills coming out of the AFC side of the bracket. On the NFC, I mean, it's low-hanging fruit at this point, but I think the 49ers are the only team that can go into Philadelphia and win.
Yep.
I can see the Eagles losing to anybody. Like, this thing is wide open, but
so open.
Realistically, I could see a scenario where the 7 seed, which is the Seahawks, they lose to the 49ers, but I can see the Giants beating the Vikings, right? And that would put the Eagles against the Giants for the third time this season. They're probably going to beat the Giants, even though they struggled with the Giants JV squad on Sunday. I still see them beating them, and then you would get San Francisco matched up with them in the NFC Championship game if they were able to get past either Dallas or Tampa. So in my mind, the 49ers are the pick for me in the NFC, even though I'm so hesitant to go with a rookie quarterback. Like, at some point, Brock Purdy's going to show that he's a rookie, and you just hope it's not, in the playoffs, but that's what it's ultimately going to be now. I mean, other games left but the playoffs. So one of these games, he's going to show his ass, and who knows? But that defense, that's the defense that I think Jalen Hurts would struggle with. San Francisco
Hell yeah.
defense.
Hell yeah. And since everybody got the Niners out of the NFC, I'm going to switch things up a bit. I'm going to go a little bit outside the box. I got the Chiefs over the Minnesota Vikings in the Super Bowl. Kirk somehow gets his ass into the Super Bowl in the NFC and takes the Vikings on a heater through the playoffs of the NFC and actually hangs in a close loss to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes gets ring number 2, Super Bowl MVP number 2.
You almost said Patrick Ramsey.
Oh my God, Lord!
I heard that.
Damn near ain't seen no type of ring. He ain't even gonna see like a ring of fame or nothing like that. But I think we put a little more respect on Kirk's name because he gets Minnesota into the big game. They're not gonna win it, but he's gonna get them there. They're gonna get close to the promised land. But Patrick Mahomes is not to be denied this year. I respect Burrow and the Bengals and Josh Allen and the Bills. The Chiefs just be having fun out there, bro. Like, if we could somehow get Eric Bieniemy ass over here, if he could actually call an offense, because it is staggering that he's been on 16 interviews and ain't pulled one job. Like,
that don't make you nervous?
That it does give me pause. Like, shit. And when you said Matt Nagy, I was like, ooh, maybe Matt Nagy make more sense than Bieniemy because I've at least seen him be a coach and win a division before. Because I don't know anybody that's been on 16 interviews for anything and ain't get one job, man. They're going to give the person that lied on the resume the job at some point. Like, fam, you don't even got to lie. You're coaching with Andy Reid. You're coaching a juggernaut, and you couldn't get one gig, bro. And some of these Joe Judge got a job. Like,
maybe in the interviews they pull out a scenario like you're down 3 with 2 minutes left.
He
what
said
plays
some
are you calling? And he just failed. Yeah, he just fails every time or something. He just hasn't figured it out. I don't know
what the hell it is, man.
I can't even imagine what it is.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's super crazy. But I don't really have. Appreciate for the donation. I don't really have a dog in the fight for the ownership thing. I see the ownership game like this. If it's going to be allowed to go to him, it's Bezos' team and nobody can contest it. If it doesn't go to him, it's him. It could be anybody. But I would say the guys that just bought Chelsea back in May have a great shot at buying the team for more than one reasons of just having the capital to do so. Roger is beating the diversity Olympics drum, and he wants a minority ownership group. After giving the Walmart family team the Broncos, I think they might try to diversify the group that buys the nation's capital's football team. But I honestly, like, anybody's better than Dan at this point, and I feel very comfortable in saying that. Y'all got a dog in the ownership fight?
No. Anybody but Dan.
Anybody but Dan. Anybody but Dan. Put it on wax. I appreciate y'all for pulling up tonight, putting a bow on this 2022 season, and another 2023 wild-ass Washington offseason is approaching. Ron is going to meet with Dan next week. We're going to see what the budget and the numbers are talking about. Appreciate everybody that pulled up into the chat. Make sure y'all smash that button on the way, like button on the way out, and sub my guys up on the way out. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Y'all know the vibes. Deuces.